Hello, and welcome back to Robinsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne, and please like and comment. I'd love to hear what you think. Subscribe and share this video with someone who might also like this video. Thank you. So we're back to sewing. It's so interesting how much I love sewing. I don't know why that cracks me up, but it kind of does. It's so simple. It's not a complicated thought. I shouldn't have to put quite so much energy into it. So I do the paper stuff because, like making books and stuff, because it's really fast and it's thrilling to lay down paint and little drawings and all that stuff and make these cool books. I really like them. The fact of the matter is I like to journal in like regular ring binder paper in a spiral bound notebook. So I don't even use the journals that I make quite exactly. Well, I don't use them as much as I make them. So I should sell them. But that seems complicated. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure something out. Anyway, I really love to sew. This, by the way, is a chain stitch. I always think of that song. Isn't it by Aretha? Chain, 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 chain of fools, right? Anyway, this is a chain stitch. This is what I call a mandala. Mandala just means circle in Sanskrit, and it most definitely is not a perfect circle, but a circle nonetheless. And so I do these kind of to think. I've found on my art path over the many decades that when I engage my right and left hands and therefore my left and right hemispheres of my brain, that it just helps me to think. So if I have a big project or a big life event, I sewed before I got married. I sewed the dress. I sewed before I bought the house that I am now living in. And that was 20 something years ago. So it was a while ago, but still I used this practice of sewing. I was doing a cross stitch face, and I've never finished the face. I have it somewhere, and I could get it out. Well, I'll have to just run across it someday. But anyway, it just helped me. I saw something like 7 houses in one day, and that's sort of a lot of information to absorb in one day. And so I would sit up late at night and just place all these cross stitches, and then I got it. By the way, I'm going to show you. Let's see if I can get close enough. So when you come to the end of a chain stitch, especially in a circle like this, and you want to attach it to the next chain stitch so it doesn't look dorky, it looks like it fits in, take the back end of your needle and put it underneath the chain that you want to link to, and you can see that as I go back into the chain before, it then perfectly links the chain links, and you can't tell that one from any of the other links. So that one's now connected, and I'm ready to come up. Oh, what do I want to do? I think, ooh, I haven't done a feather stitch. Let's do that. Now I don't have a lot of this color of red left. I have this kind of redishy, but it's really quite orange. I have this, which is, I think, a little bluer than this one. And I also have this and this, which might match, or maybe they don't. Anyway, I'll do them differently. I'll do different stitches, you know, as I come out towards the edge. Or I could just stop, you know, and this is felt, by the way, polyester felt. Yeah, so anyway, I use stitching to help me think. And my babies are not babies anymore. They do not live with me. God has blessed them. So my life is radically changing, and I need to make bunches of decisions about that and other things. I'm also cleaning out my house, which is really wonderful. There are people who live without clutter. I don't really understand how they do that. But every time I clean up my house, I think, oh my gosh, that's just such a beautiful feeling. I walk into a room that I've just like completely scoured of, not of dust, but of clutter. Too many things. And I breathe a sigh of relief. So I thought that might be good for my mental and even physical health. So I'm cleaning up my house, and I really hope I'm holding this in the right position for you to be seeing. I don't know why somehow my camera is a little high and I can't quite see, but I think this is the right place to be holding this. So this is a feather stitch, and I am thinking, this is this philosophy I have, that because our hands are told what to do by our brain, and our brain has two sides, a right and left hemisphere, and whenever we start using our hands in a coordinated fashion, or legs or body in general, like walking does this too, running, walking, swimming, lots of physical exercise stuff does this, lots of handcraft work, whether it's using the materials of wood or ceramic or fabric or, I don't know, anything. When we're using both hands to do the work, and my left hand, even though I'm right-handed, my left hand has to hold this fabric in a certain way to make the stitches kind of easy. And, if my left hand's over there doing what it pleases, then the fabric doesn't get held in the correct way and I would be lost. So the hemispheres of my brain have to talk to each other to say, move your hand over this way and make your thumb do that and make your forefinger do that and blah, blah, blah. So it just gets the hemispheres of my brain talking to each other. And while they're talking to each other about white felt and red floss, it turns out that the hemispheres of my brain talk to each other about all kinds of stuff, like memories from 5 years ago or 25 years ago, questions I have about my life, like which house should I move into, all kinds of stuff. So as I'm thinking about art, I end up also thinking about all the other clutter in my brain, and I make decisions. The house thing 20 some years ago is one of those examples of I was sewing along on this cross-stitch face, and all of a sudden it was entirely clear to me which house would be the best house for me to raise my little tiny children in. And so I bought this house, and it's been a perfect, wonderful house to raise kids in. And it's a pretty cool home for me to be living in now, without my kids. So that was a good decision. And it was all because I was sewing at the time. And so all the different kinds of decision, our brains remember stuff, different things in different ways. Spatial memory, feeling memories, memories of time and sequence, like what thing happened first, second, and third, that kind of stuff. Math, language, all of those things are remembered in our different hemispheres in different ways. And when the two hemispheres start talking to each other, like move this thumb over here and move this thumb over there, and then we know, I don't know, it just sort of stirs everything up and it brings everything up to the surface, and then we can figure it out. And a lot of this stuff happens, in my experience, like not consciously. It's kind of subconscious. So then that really lets loose with tons of information. And I'm not going to get another stitch out of that. And so we can really figure stuff out, like what kind of house to buy. So that's cool. So I just offer this up as, a way to go through life and figure stuff out. And paper too. All right. So isn't this pretty? I really love feather stitches. Well, that's basically all I had to tell you. I just think it's so important to have a practice, whether it's walking or running or some manner of handcraft, I think it's so important to have something that we do that engages both sides of our brain. And as I said, it's all kind of subconscious, especially the running and walking or swimming or something like that. Like we don't really see all the different ideas cross our minds. And I don't think it has to become conscious. I did another piece when I got divorced, and that one took me 5 months to do. It's a really beautiful piece. And I just thought about the piece itself. There's lots of beading and embroidery and slow stitching of one kind in another, or just stitching. And I really wasn't thinking about my divorce, like it wasn't that focused. I just sewed. And when I was done 5 months later, I said, oh, right. I remember I did this for a reason. I did this to straighten out my thoughts about my divorce. And I thought, did it work? Did I do that? Did I actually figure some stuff out? And I thought back about what a mess I had been. I think it was in November when I started, and then 5 months later, at the beginning of May, when I finished, or the end of April, whenever that was, I thought, yeah, I totally get why I made all the decisions I made, and I'm proud of myself, and I was looking out for the best interests, blah, blah, blah. And yes, it's been hard, but I did the best I could with everything that I knew at the time, and I stand by all those decisions. And so what happened was I was brought to this place of peace about the divorce, that it was the right thing to do at that time, and I would figure out how to build a life with my kids, and I did. And they're darling, wonderful children, and quite stupendous. So I did the right thing at the right time. And that's what I needed to know. It hadn't been clear to me. I was very angsty in November, and I was kind of peaceful in April. So, and I didn't gnarl over the decisions during the sewing. I was way too busy counting beads and all that kind of stuff. But because I made the intention at the beginning of what the piece was for, then my brain and subconscious and super conscious and everything took over, and my ego just worked on the piece. And I gave my hands something to do, and it was really sweet, and I ended up with a beautiful, beautiful piece. And yeah, so it's all good. So I just wanted to, I guess, say that stuff again. And I just love sewing. I mean, it could be anything, like I say. It could be walking. It could be anything. But I personally love sewing the best. So I wish for all people everywhere that they find the excellent practice of their choice the one that makes them the happiest for their meditations and thinking practices. And yeah, I just hope you have a lot of fun doing it, because fun and enjoyment in meditation is, I don't know, I think a lot of people don't think that's so important, but I certainly think it's important, because if it's not fun, I won't do it. And I love sewing. So, but whatever your practice is, I hope you love it, and I hope it brings you peace. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Okie doke. Bye.